Good evening. Welcome to The Public Servant. My name is Rina Villamor Camara, and today let's get to know more about our esteemed guest, who is a recipient of numerous prestigious awards as an outstanding legislator. He is the Chief of the National Irrigation Administration, Vice Chairperson for the government sector in the National Anti-Poverty Commission, a staunch advocate of programs against hunger as he is chair of the Interagency Task Force on Zero Hunger and a co-chair of the Interagency Task Force of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Let's all welcome to the show, Cabinet Secretary Karlo Nograles. Hi, sir.
Hi, good evening. Good evening sa iyo, Rina, at magandang gabi rin po sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon.
Kamusta po kayo, sir?
Daming trabaho.
Tama.
Daming kailangan gawin. Yeah.
Ayan,
So,
I'm sure busy po kayo, but thank you po dito sa pag-unlak niyo po sa amin. And the viewers are ardent to know ano po ba yung mga projects ng IATF this pandemic. But before we tackle on the COVID-19 response on IATF po, let's get to know first who is Cabinet Secretary Karlo Nograles before entering politics. Let
nako.
me begin by asking you this question po, no, Cabsec. Can you describe to us, kamusta po kayo nung bata po kayo, and take us back to your younger years?
Well, what can I say? Yung childhood ko, no complaints naman. At I have very nice childhood memories. And siguro yung childhood ko can be divided into the preteen and the teenager years, no?
Mm-hmm.
Preteen kasi I was born and raised in Davao.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole preteen life, nasa Davao ako, no? Studying in Davao, I was schooling in Davao. Pero nung high school, I got accepted kasi sa scholarship sa Philippine Science High School sa Diliman, Quezon City. So I had to pack my bags and move to Quezon City, to Manila, to continue my studies in Philippine Science. Pero nung kabataan ko, siguro I don't remember much about I guess when I was under 5 years old, I only remember mga story sa akin ng aking mga magulang. Sabi nila, when I was born, we didn't have a house yet. So, nagre-rent lang kami ng bahay sa Davao. At di ko alam kung tama yung pagkaintindi ko, pero ang sinasabi ng tatay ko sa akin, we were renting a house. Inuupa namin. Ang nire-rent namin house belonged to a security guard. That's what he told me, no? And then ang maalala ko na lamang is yung memories ko would be in that house where our family home is in Davao. And then I had a wonderful time with my neighbors there, no? Kaibigan ko lahat ng mga kapitbahay namin doon, mga bata din, so naglalaro kami, the usual. And then it was always school and home and school pag weekdays, and then pag weekends, laro-laro with the mga kapitbahay namin. And then I was a studious kid. So puro aral, siniseryoso masyadong pag-aaral, pero naka-divide yung time ko. Basta weekday, aral yan, schooling yan, seryoso yan. Pag weekend, laro na yon. So parang ganun yung aking pag-set ng time. And then nung high school, doon na mas lalo pa kasi Philippine Science yun eh. So medyo puro academics. Academics lang yun. And then tuloy-tuloy na ako from Philippine Science all the way to college to law school. Ganun yung naging buhay ko nung kabataan. Every now and then though, kahit nag-aaral ako sa Manila, ay umuwi ako sa Davao pag Christmas, pag summer. Basta may back to roots ako. Basta may mahabang gap between schools.
Cabsec, yung bata pa po kayo, ano po yung aspirations nyo? Is it becoming a politician already, just like your father, or ano po ba?
Believe it or not, nung bata ko, ang naalala ko talaga, ang gusto ko maging pare.
Bakit po?
Parang bilib na bilib ako. Parang yung parang, alam mo yun, pag nagsisimba ka, nakikita mo yung pare, at parang bait na bait ka, di ba? Parang sobrang bait, sobrang galing, sobrang daming na-inspire. At parang for me, that was goodness personified, di ba?
Okay.
Tapos, nung nalaman ko na ay yung pare hindi pala pwedeng magkapamilya at magkaanak. Ayoko na. Kasi inisip ko, kailangan siguro mas masaya kung may pamilya ka, di ba?
Okay.
Yun yung naisip ko that time. So,
So,
sabi ko,
Mhm.
sige, kung hindi pare, anong gusto ko maging?
Yes.
Doktor.
Okay.
Sabi ko, so, they would ask you, ano ang gusto mo pag naging, anong gusto mo maging? So, sabi ko, doktor. Kanya siguro ako ng Philippine Science, di ba?
Mm-mm.
The problem was, I never got over my fear of blood and needles. Hanggang ngayon, takot pa rin ako sa
Takot pa rin kayo. Yes.
So, change of plans. Pagdating ng fourth year high school ko, I had to pick a course. Ayoko na. Sabi ko, imposible na talaga ang maging doktor. So, I took up engineering. Umiwas talaga ako na maging abogado because I did not want to be compared to my father. I wanted to step out of the shadow of my father. Nire-resist ko talaga. So, engineering, and then after I graduated, I worked for a big company, multinational company, in fact.
Ayan, speaking of your father, you've mentioned about your father, no? Kamusta naman po yung paglaki nyo, knowing that your father is very influential? He is the former House Speaker, diba? And he was the first ever speaker coming from Mindanao also. So how was it growing up like that?
Growing up, of course, hindi pa siya speaker noon, no? So growing up, he was at first, yung kanyang pagkakilala ng mga tao sa kanya in his young career was he was a human rights fighter. No, he fought for human rights during that turbulent martial law days, time ni former President Marcos, di ba? Maraming mga human rights abuses. So he was very active. He was a lawyer fighting for those who na-abuse human rights, those who could not afford a lawyer. He was representing them, no, in court. So that's how he got to be known. And then saka na lang naging politician. But I remember very distinctly dun sa bahay, sa family home namin, yung garahe namin kinonvert niya into an office, no. And klase-klase, iba-ibang klaseng tao ang pupunta doon. Hindi lamang yung mga humingi ng representation in court, but even those asking for help, for money, for financial assistance, for schooling, for burial assistance, for all types of help, and I also remember very distinctly na since wala siyang bayad, pro bono lahat, binibigyan siya ng mga manok, binibigyan siya ng mga gulay, yun yung pambayad sa abogado, kumbaga. And our house was parang open to the public. So at a very young age, na-expose na talaga ako sa people at sa mga pangangailangan ng tao, no? And so when he became a politician, then all the more mas dumami mga tao pumupunta sa bahay, etc. As a speaker, obviously he held a very high position in government. Yes. No? So it had its ups and downs, may mga challenges din. Being in the limelight, syempre, open to attack ka. So you had to live with that. No? You had to live with people criticizing your father, criticizing your family, but also praising. No? So may mga praises, meron din ako criticize. But at the end of the day kasi, sa pagiging speaker niya, marami rin siyang mga nagawa, especially in his district and in his hometown of Davao. So at the end of the day, yun yung parang nakikita namin na yung what comes with a big position also as speaker is the ability also to help more people and the responsibility also to help more people.
Okay. Kayo po, Cabsec, at what age po did you enter politics?
Ako, kailan ba? Pumasok ako kasi I was elected into office in 2010, no? And so that would mean I entered public service at the age of 33. Pero previous to that, I was already previous to that, kuha na ako eh. As I said, as much as I could, I would help in the office. I would help my dad. No, at one point I was studying in law school, but I was also at the same time serving in my dad's office as one of his staff dun sa Congress. Then after I graduated from law school and took the bar, I went back home to Davao, and then I served as his chief of staff sa district office. So, ginajuggle ko yung pag-appear ko in court, yung aking pagiging abogado doon sa trabaho namin sa district office. But if the question is kailan ako nahalal, it was at age 33.
Ayan, at a very young age, no, you started your political career, no? When you were starting po, did you had any doubts about yourself? And what was it about?
Obviously, lahat naman tayo, in any career path or in any career that we choose to go to, you'll always have doubts in your mind, no? I guess for me, it was, more of a question in my head kung tatanggapin ba ako ng publiko, ng taong bayan, ng mga botante, di ba? Kasi at the end of the day, kailangan mo tumakbo, kailangan mong manalo, kailangan may tiwala ang taong bayan sa iyo, or majority of the voters should elect you into office. So there was always that question, no? In my first run, no? Hindi anak ako ng ama ko, ng tatay ko, but I'm a different person. And hindi naman yan automatic na
Yes.
so anak ka ni ganyan, di iboboto ka, di ba? So you still have to prove your worth. So yun, siguro yung, kumbaga, yung aking naging question sa aking head, which can only be answered through election, di ba? So, tawa ng Diyos naman, sa pagtakbo ko, nahalal naman po tayo. So, tuloy-tuloy na yun, no? Natapos natin yung 3 years natin in 3 terms. 3 years first, and then re-election, and then eventually natapos natin yung 3 terms natin in Congress.
Cabsec, sino po yung maituturing yung mga mentors niyo po sa starting career niyo po, and what was the best advice they gave to you?
Well, of course, my mentor always naman my father, no? And the best advice that he gave me really was it's not how many times you fall, but it's how you get up after every fall. I also have, medyo may mga kaibigan din ako mga pare. So I consider them also as my mentors, no? And one particular priest who already passed away is an old wise priest that I would go to ask for advice. I remember very distinctly na marami akong sinasabi sa kanya, no, na kailangan ito yung mga problema ng bayan, ito mga problema ng bansa, kailangan natin ayusin ito yung mga frustrations ko, ito yung kailangan natin gawin, ganyan. Tapos yung advice niya lang sa akin, you start small. Don't be overwhelmed with so many thoughts about fixing one big thing, no? It's the small steps. It's the small things that you have to do, and you begin with yourself, and then you go on to do good in the immediate surroundings around you, no? Which is your family, your friends, your community, and that's how it starts. So it starts with small steps.
Okay. What about your definition of success when you were younger compared to your definition of success ngayon po at this stage of your career?
Mas simple yung definition of success natin ng bata, di ba?
Opo.
Manalo ka lang ng basketball game, ayun, successful ka na. Championships ng basketball, or in my childhood I used to play softball, football or basketball.
Oh, wow.
Or softball kasi pag grade school, pagdating sa high school, baseball na yan. So I was the pitcher in our softball team, so sobrang saya namin nung nag-champion kami, di ba, ng softball team namin. And of course, in studies, syempre, ang definition of success mo is
To
just
pass.
No, actually. to, to have line of nines.
Okay,
The
okay.
grade. Yun
That's the target eh.
to be top of the class, ganyan, to receive certificates of awards for most
Wow.
responsible, mga ganyan. And then as you go along, parang in your career, syempre, it changes. No? Depende sa kung anong focus mo, kung anong ginagawa.
Mm-mm.
At the end of the day, I think the definition of success as you grow older, I think for me, it's not just yung excellence in work, in the work that you do. But I think as you grow older, you find the definition of success in finding inner peace na rin. No?
Okay.
Parang pag tumatanda ka, parang ang hinahanap mo na lang is inner peace, peace in the family, no, peace in the community. Ganun ang hinahanap mo. More than excelling, more than receiving accolades or recognition.
Yes.
It transforms itself into finding peace na rin.
Okay. What's your biggest fear in life?
Well, everything that has to do with family, diba? Yung something bad happens to a family member, especially in this time of COVID, diba?
Yes, it's
Something
very.
happens to, a friend, something untoward, accidents, mga ganyan. Yung mga fears ko, especially immediate family, syempre. Diba? Naalala ka lagi para sa sa mga anak mo, sa asawa mo, 'di ba, sa pamilya mo. Yun yung mga worries. Worries na that you you pray for. You pray a lot.
Yes.
Oh.
Do you have any regret in life, Capsec?
Regrets? Naisip ko na yan eh. Meron ba tayong regret? Pero at the end of the day, alam mo, Rins, hindi rin eh. Kasi lahat ng mga mistakes mo, if you consider that, syempre you have mistakes, no?
Yes.
You learn from it eh. And the fastest way kasi to learn from anything is when you learn from your mistakes, no? So you can't really say na they're really regrets, no? You regret the mistakes you make. Certain mistakes that you make, but at the same time, if you learn from it naman, then at the very least, you turn those mistakes or regrets into positives.
Okay, what's your pastime to make you relax? I know that you're a very busy person, but what makes you relax?
Dati, I would play golf, no, to relax, or play basketball. Before it was basketball, then nasira na yung tuhod ko. Kaya sa basketball, na operahan na yung tuhod ko. So, hindi na mga basketball, parang pa-shooting-shooting na lang. Then, so, I had convert to something na hindi masisira ang tuhod ko, so golf, no? But nung naging cabinet secretary ako, pati yun, ang hirap na maghanap ng oras talaga. Especially now, di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng maglaro-laro ng whatever ngayon.
Yeah.
So what makes me relax na lang talaga right now is just, spending quality time with my family, no? Especially with my kids. Whatever free time I have, it's with the kids and with my wife, Marga, as a family, as one family unit. Noon, nakakalabas ka pa. Ngayon, di ba? So, naghanap ka na lang ng anything that, mga bonding moments na lang inside the home, whether it's watching or playing board games or just relaxing with the kids and the wife. So ganun na lang, find small pleasures in spending time with family, quality time.
Cabsec, can you tell me 2 things that people don't know about you? The other side of Cabinet Secretary Karlo Nograles. What are those?
Gusto ko sana sabihin na mahilig ako mag-karaoke, pero baka
baka hingan kita ng sample, Cabsec.
yung pamparelax natin, di ba? In fact, the best gift that somebody recently gave me is this mic na parang karaoke na you can
yes.
Bluetooth it, i-connect mo lang sa Bluetooth tapos YouTube. Tapos sa YouTube mag-karaoke ka na. So yun yung Yun yung, yung, yung nagbibigay aliw sa amin ngayon. Yung karaoke na yan. And then, I want to say also, secretly, may hindi akong mag-dance, di ba? But parang ano na eh,
Nagti-TikTok ka ba?
sa TikTok na eh. Kaya baka alam na nila na yan. So, now my my something that probably people don't know is nagzuzumba ako with my wife. So, especially now kasi na ano itong puro work from home at puro Zoom.
Yes.
You're always sitting the whole day. So,
Tama.
hindi na na-exercise yung muscles mo talaga, especially the legs. And I've discovered that the fastest and best way to exercise the entire body while having fun is Zumba. So, pag nagsusumba yung misis ko, sumasama ako.
Sinasabay ka na.
So, nagsusumba na rin ako.
Okay. Pero if you weren't in politics right now, where do you see yourself? Ano po ang ginagawa niyo ngayon?
Zumba dancer. Hindi.
Instructor ng Zumba. Magjo-join ako ng class niyo noon.
I'm a lawyer naman by profession. So,
Okay.
if not politics, I would have been practicing law, which I was already doing before entering politics. Before entering public office, I was already appearing in court. I was practicing my profession as a lawyer.
Gusto ko lang balikan, sir. Go ahead.
No, so yun. I'd be a practicing lawyer.
Ayun. Gusto ko lang balikan yung na-mention mo about your wife, no? Na you do Zumba with your wife. What about your children? Ano yung mga pastime ninyo as a family with your children?
Board games, no? Especially now, diba? Before it was, well, it's not a pastime, but we'd go out, travel, wherever we could take them para may breather lang, especially pag summer break, pag break ng mga bata.
Yes.
But right now, since hindi, it's mostly, we play board games. We like playing board games. Yung karaoke mic na sinasabi ko, yun. Karaoke kami.
Karaoke all day.
Karaoke, hindi naman all day. Kasi, busy rin sila. May student din sila. But,
Yes.
but pag weekends, pag may oras, pag may time, then yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to talk about your work in the Interagency Task Force for Emerging Infectious Diseases po, no? What do you think are the different challenges faced right now by IATF? Especially, we have rising cases of COVID-19